Hi all, Lewis Miguel Alexa from BRIKbc Projects. Hope is all well. I'd like to focus on the liquidity. As we know, buying direct property, it can be very illiquid. What do we mean by liquid? Well, basically, liquidity talks about in terms of how many buyers and sellers are out there trying to buy your property or selling your property. So liquidity in terms of property is basically if you put your property in the market today, how many buyers will be there to buy your property? And again, if you are buying a property, how many properties are there for you to be able to buy? And that ticks all your boxes. So again, liquidity talks about how many buyers and sellers are in the marketplace trying to buy a particular asset. So with property, we know it's lumpy. So the ability to be able to sell a property when you want to sell can be challenging, as we know. In terms of timing, is it the right time to sell? In terms of where is the economy cycle at? Is it the right time to buy? Is it reached the top? So they're all the questions you ask yourself in terms of when you're looking at selling a property. And how many buyers are going to be there? Are we able to expose to get as many buyers as possible in terms of trying to sell that property? In terms of having the right agents and all those sort of things that come into play. So again, when we talk about in terms of selling the property, it's it's the ideal is having selling the property at the right time, to the right buyer that will pay the right price. And again, all those things very rarely all aligned in your favour when you're trying to sell a property. As we in terms of when you're buying or selling, so in terms of buying a property, we've always got high transaction costs when you're buying a property directly with stamp duty. In terms of government stamp duties at various levels of government. So I know here in Australia, we've got stamp duty at state level. So the states impose a duty when you buy a property. Typically, say for example, Queensland, the state we're in, it's around 1.6% roughly that it works out to be. So if you're buying $1 million property, there's around $16,000 you have to pay in stamp duty if it's an investment property. It's a bit cheap if it's your residence, but in terms of investments, that sort of works out to be around that sort of figure. Got legals when you're buying, got borrowing costs, so you've got all those additional costs, lumpy costs that come into play when you're trying to buy a property. Trying to sell, agents fees can vary between 2% to 5%, depending on what agent you use. You've got legals involved, so you have also lumpy costs when you do try to sell that property. And again, it's trying to sell a property. It's always that hard slog in terms of how liquid is the market, given its stage of the economy, given its stage of the property market. So what we try to do is we see our BRIKs as a solution to that problem in terms of liquidity. So again, anybody that comes on and buys our BRIK tokens, they basically can buy one, can buy many, but knowing they also have the ability to sell our BRIK tokens on the secondary market that's going to be there for them to sell those tokens. So again, in creating the buzz around the activity around the BRIK tokens and the secondary market, is the vision is to have as many active people as possible in those secondary markets. So then basically we got the ability to sell the BRIK tokens at any time that people want. So basically you can sell one, you can sell many, you can keep it, and you can keep some. So basically it's really up to you. So you're not having to sell a whole property. You're basically selling a fraction of that property, or whether it be the one token or there'll be many tokens in terms of what you hold. So again, it provides this liquidity basically you got the option to sell at any time at how many you want to sell when you get on the journey with the BRIK tokens. So again, we see that as a great solution to provide liquidity, and hoping you can come on the journey with us as part of the BRIK family, and creating that buzz in that secondary market that people can buy and sell between each other, and as we go forward. Okay then, take care.